Yeah, hi Mark, how you doing?
Good morning, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
The sun is shining, Emma. The sun is shining.
I know it's rare in Manchester, isn't it?
It's
So make the
nice.
most
It's
of it.
nice. I like it.
Can we just start with team news, as always, please?
Yeah, as far as we're aware, as of we sit right now, everybody barring the longer term injuries is available. So, positive news. So everybody's available for the squad, and yeah, that's nice going into a final.
Yeah, great stuff. Just simple question really, but if you win the FA Cup this weekend, would that be a successful season?
I mean, we've added silverware to Manchester United. I think that's successful wherever you are as a club. I think there are things that we'll learn from this season, Emma, that I already know the answers to that we can fix in the summer. I have no doubt about that. When you're in and at the end of a season, you want to finish it the best way that you can. We've got two finals to go. One at Old Trafford and obviously the Wembley one this weekend. So, of course, if we add silverware, which is going to be difficult, by the way. I think you know this, Emma. We're pretty humble people, and Tottenham deserve to be in the final, not having the underdog status. If you get to a final, you deserve to be in the final. So, from our perspective, we can add silverware. I think more importantly for our fans, I think that will be hugely important going forwards.
Yeah, you sort of touched on it there by saying, Spurs shouldn't be the underdogs.
Correct.
And it's an interesting one, really, because maybe last season, obviously going into your first final, but then coming up against the Chelsea side, although you did have lots of momentum, compared to this season, where obviously it's your second final, some people are obviously putting you as favourites. Just wondered how you see the differences between going into both finals. Do you feel like you're in a stronger position this year, perhaps, than you were last year?
Do you know where I think we will have a bit of a stronger position potentially is because of experience, Emma. I think experience in the final it's new if you haven't done it before. Now, I know Tottenham have players that have experienced finals before, so those players won't be overawed, but it can be a moment where it can absorb you and it can affect the way that you want to play. And look, we've got to make sure that that's how we play. We've got to make sure that we've been there, we've done it. It has to be a business for us. We have to go into this game and make it very business related, but enjoy the moment, of course. We've got to Wembley. We're playing against a team that will be buoyed by that. You get an energy when it's your first final, so you're going to get an energy for that. But I think there are ways that you can counteract that, and we have to try and do that. But I'm not expecting... This is an equal playing field going into it, and we cannot and will not, we won't underestimate it. So whatever tag people add to it, we know the job we've got to do.
Thanks, Mark. All the best.
Thank you, mate.
Emma, thanks. Jamie, on to you next, please, mate.
Hey Mark, how you doing?
Morning, Jam. All right, mate. You?
I'm good, thank you.
Good man.
Just kind of following a little bit from that, you were in the final last weekend, and when you didn't win, it was a really low moment, and you went to watch Chelsea go and get the medals and the trophies. So sort of just looking back at that now, 12 months on, what do you kind of how do you reflect on that still, and how does it sort of feed into this weekend?
Yeah, it has to, right? It has to feed into it. I think when the moments come, when we're asking humans to perform really physical action, and it's naturally a fatiguing situation where it's meant to be 24 degrees, so both sets of players are going to feel that the weekend. But when that hurt hits and you feel it and you can recall it, it can be an extra driving, motivating factor, and that's how you have to use it, Jay. We have to use it as remember, bring back those feelings, and give more and give more and give more. And look, there's nobody guaranteed to win this final. Let me be very clear on that. But what we have to do is we have to give everything in order to make sure the performance is worthy of it. And if we do that and use those experiences, the feelings of it to drive us forward, then hopefully that'll give us a little edge, and that's what you need to win the game.
And whether you win or whether Tottenham win, there'll be a new name on the trophy. And how, as from a wider competitive point of view, how important is that for the competition and football in this country?
I think this season in general, Jay, forget the FA Cup for a second. I think in general, the competition, the competitiveness of the league has been far more. And what it kind of reminds you of is that you can't stand still, and you must keep progressing, keep evolving. because if you don't, you can get left behind. And for us, I think the investment in the league, the excitement of what's to come, I only think it's going to get better. And I think women's football is in an exciting place to take that forwards.
Thank you very much. Best of luck now.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, mate.
Jay, thanks for Dumo. On to you next.
Hey Mark, how are you?
Good morning, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good.
I wanted to ask, I guess there's been reports of interest from the NWSL and Nikita Paris and how she chose to stay with United because she didn't want to leave for the FA Cup. I just wanted to ask, I guess, were there conversations around possibly leaving and just kind of what type of player and is she when she comes to committing herself to a team and committing herself to really getting the best out of United?
I mean, I've read the reports as you've read the reports for Dumo, so what I can promise you is that Nikita has always and always will remain a focused, fantastic player. Like, look at her numbers this year. Look at how she's played. Look at the role model she is. And for me, there are lots of speculative information everywhere that you look if you want to read them. But from my perspective, when I turn up every day and I see a driven character that not only motivates herself but motivates people around her, for me, Nikita is the way that she supports this team, the way she plays this team. You can tell she's 100% committed to what's going on at Manchester United. And from my perspective, that is something that welcome every single day. Having players like Nikita in our team is hugely important for our success going forward. So whatever you read for Dumo, you can tell by this player and by her personality, her commitment. She's a fantastic player for Manchester United.
Lovely. I wanted to ask around, I guess, coming into this final, where you've previously been in the final, it's Tottenham's first time coming to a final. There's a lot of excitement from them, equally from yourself. But does it come with a sense of pressure now that you're in your second final and not basically repeating what happened last year? Yeah,
I mean, reality was, if you repeat, I mean, everybody, we got to a final and lost to Chelsea, and it wasn't it was a bad moment for us because we wanted to win it. But what I'll say is, we can't go in. You'd be a fool to go in super confident that you're going to walk this final, because Tottenham are a very, very good team, and especially on their day they can beat anyone within this league. So from my perspective, for Dumo, it's about living in the space in between where you're confident, you know what you can do, but you also have the hurt of last year that you have to push through, and you have to go and make sure that Tottenham feel. And I think if we put that mindset into place in this game, then I feel we can go on to be successful. And that's all we can plan for. We can plan for that performance and then hope in that moment that we've learned from all of our experiences together. And if we do that, then hopefully we'll have the little edge on top of Tottenham in this game.
I guess the last couple of weeks in terms of preparation for this, I spoke to Robert Willingham yesterday ahead of the Women's FA Cup, and he spoke about how the team do a lot of yoga to kind of keep their mind and body at bay. I was wondering, is there anything that you guys do socially as a team to kind of keep calm and not get carried away with the excitement of it all? I
mean, the reality is obviously each team uses their own tools and tactics, but I mean, our players are constantly, every month they'll go together, they'll have team events, they'll do everything. And that's been a consistent threat. It's not just because we're in a final, and so from our perspective, it's about that constant reinforcement of the togetherness, a constant want to be around each other. Our team want to be in each other's company. Otherwise, for Dumo, I can't stress this enough, it's business as usual. Yes, it's take our performances and put them in a different stadium with more fans, and that should be the game. There's nothing else. This is a business, and we have to be in the business game of picking the right moments to attack, defend, and try and manage this game. And so from our perspective, it's business as usual.
It could be a double for a club with the women and the men's FA Cup. I just wondered what the atmosphere has been like. Have there been talks from the board and anyone on our half in terms of support for the women's team, but respectively the men's team as well?
Yeah, just excitement. I think what it is when you get when you've earned the right to get to a final, you should be excited about it. You know, the pressure naturally comes because you want to win it, and so do Tottenham. But I think it's the excitement, and we should never forget that. We're too far. This game will come and go. The winner and losers will be there, and all of a sudden we'll be talking about the next thing. And then, as humans, we have to move on and move on and move on. But for me, as players and staff, you should remember how hard you've had to work to get to a final, and use that in the game, use that energy, and that's what I'm going to remind the players of when we go into this game. Look how hard you've had to fight to get here, use that energy, and then look, if we're successful and we do that, then we've made history for our club and for our fans, and that's what everybody in this team is gunning for. We want to be successful for our fans.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning.
I just want to ask, obviously, against Chelsea, kind of the game that got you here, the style was a little bit different. It felt like there were shades of your success at Birmingham within that performance. Obviously, you played very differently against Spurs with a different attacking unit a couple of weeks ago. So I just wonder, when you've thought about the game plan going into this game, whether you've had a clear plan, you've known which players to call upon, or whether you've kind of toyed with the two different styles and the different personnel.
A bit of all of it, Dan, really. I think you have to look at what works. You have to look at form. You have to look at players that have been here before, that have the experience. You have to look at players that are hungry and fresh and ready to come into it, that can make right decisions. I think you as a coach have to constantly adapt, constantly look, constantly feel the way that your players want to perform and ready to perform. So style is what the game will need. There'll be times in the final, Dan, where if you're losing, you gotta throw caution to the wind. If you're winning, you might have to be more reserved. So I think this game's going to have a bit of everything for both teams. So what you've been trying to do over the past season is build to a crescendo of understanding of your players, and that's what this game, hopefully, we'll be in a position where we can attack. But I think we're going to have a mixture of styles.
And in terms of Spurs, kind of, I suppose what we've seen, the theme from them is that, they've kind of improved their performances in these games against teams, from the initial performances earlier in the season. So I suppose that presents a challenge to you to improve your performance against Spurs. So how do you improve based on that game a few weeks ago? Yeah,
I think, in all honesty, when I looked at the second half, Dan, Tottenham didn't have a shot. So it's like it improved vastly in that second half. And from our perspective, the first game we played them, obviously we were pretty dominant. So what I think Tottenham have done well this year, especially against the higher teams, they've kept their style, right? They've kept their style, but you also have to be careful with that, because that can hurt you. Like if you in big moments slip for a second, then you can be hurt with that style, because it's aggressive and it's attacking. And so from our perspective, we've got to make sure that we maximise that. We've got to make sure that we make Tottenham slip. And if we can do that, then we can maximise the game. But I have no doubt, I look at Tottenham's front line, I look at their depth, their squad, their investment, and look, they're investing to try and be in finals. So for us, it's about trying to manage the game, trying to manage the opponent, but then trying to dominate as well as much as we can. And I want to see our experience growth within this game.
That's smart. Best of luck and see you Sunday.
Thank you, Dan. See you Sunday.
Dan, thanks. Rich, we'll come on to you next. Rich?
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Rich. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate, thanks. Similar to kind of what Jamie asked in a way, but going back even further to that first, a few weeks after the game, and it hit you quite hard, and the criticism hit you quite hard, like just that. So reflect on that personal journey you've been on the last 7 years, because you seem to have a different sort of attitude to dealing with those things these days. Is that just the experience, or because at the time, the first final, that all the little intricacies of the game plan, like you seem to sort of take quite some time to get past that?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I just missed the first part, Rich. Was it about the first final and what I've learned going forwards from those experiences?
Yeah, with Birmingham.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I think naturally the experience. Nobody wants to, on a national stage, feel those experiences, but it's part of competitive sport, right, Rich? So, I think you grow up. I think you mature. I think it never gets easier. But what it does is it's part and parcel of the game, so you learn the pressures of it. I think what I'm learning and what's happening more and more is, I was listening, there was an Eddie Howe with Gary Neville did an interview with him, and they talk about how managers have to be bulletproof, and we're expected to be bulletproof, but we're also human. And so I think it would be unnatural for me not to feel, and for me not to experience and be devastated by a loss. So but I've always known that losses make you stronger, and the strength you need to succeed on the long term, the long run, is you need to understand how to deal with failure. And I think that you're quite right, and we've spoken in depth that that first final I never watched back. I never watched the game back because it hurt at that moment. But I think what you learn to do is you learn to deal with your emotions when you feel that, and I think that's important because I'm human, and if I want to treat humans in my environment like humans, then I have to be able to feel those moments, and it builds you. So I feel that it's built resilience in me. It's needed for my job, it's needed for the career that I've chosen. And so I think from that, what you learn to do as well, Rich, is when you're feeling those moments and you're feeling the disappointment, you can still make action and you still think. I'm asking players to think in experienced players to think in moments, and so do I. And I think that's where you grow within these games.
Obviously, this season is a new era for the club with the new investors coming in. I was just wondering kind of what it would mean for the United Women's team to get kind of that first trophy of the new era, maybe like as a symbol of what your side can even the years going forward.
Yeah, Kit, that's a good question. Look, it's hugely important. I think to add trophies to Manchester United and to be the first team, obviously we won the championship, but to add a domestic trophy would be huge. And I think we're aware of that. That's part and parcel of being a footballer at Manchester United, is to prepare to win. But I think regardless of Sunday, I think the impetus is there, and the desire to win is there, and Ineos coming in has only reflected that even more. So there'll be a really exciting time regardless of Sunday, but hopefully we can add the trophy to start that era.